what really has worked for me in the past to present too is creating systems in how you do your thing, which are, I guess, creating habits.
One of my memorable encounters with John Buffery, better known as Buff, was in 1998. I was spinning my wheels trying to find a title for a backcountry avalanche book that was specifically for snowboarders. Over a sushi lunch, Buff suggested free riding in avalanche terrain, and then asked if he could arrange for the book to be translated into Japanese. Wow, and yes! Since then, he and I have presented at some avalanche conferences and have worked together on some training sessions for some operations. John Buffery has developed a robust professional practice of avalanche and mountain risk management, tailoring the International Standards Organization 31,000 platform for consultation on major feature films, mechanized snowboarding operations, and BC highways. Buff's first ever handmade split board was shared with professional rider Craig Kelly during a film shoot in the Yukon. Buff guided Craig throughout the mountains of the world for various film shoots, integrating Burton's split snowboard sensation. Together with Jeff Pensiero and others, they founded the largest snowcat operation in the world, Baldface Lodge. Presently, Buff is employed full-time with the BC Highways Avalanche Program as the Senior Avalanche Officer, reducing the uncertainty of avalanche risk for the traveling public. Lately, he has become an avalanche risk evangelist, speaking internationally on effective leadership and communication. Buff, what advice do you have for your younger self, or which habits work for you?
It's an interesting thing to think of what you would talk to yourself about as being an avalanche professional from the past to present and into the future. So I think I could kind of give you some highlights of what worked for me. At the beginning, I think really, which is carried through for me now, is in your reviewing of what's going on in the snowpack, and pretty much kind of in generally my life, your lives, is to stay open for trying to find an answer, but not being resolved to being absolute with an answer. And I think that's really an important thing. It just keeps you open to trying to figure out what what the key problem is that you're looking into. I think it also kind of comes to a balance there between humility in not understanding and not knowing, to striving to the confidence to having a forecast and living to that forecast and kind of committing to it. So it's a balance there with that as well, with the humility of knowing that there's a phenomenon attached to it all, to the confidence of putting yourself into that situation. So I think what really has worked for me in the past to present too is creating systems in how you do your thing, which are, I guess, creating habits. That's kind of worked for me too. And this is kind of all innately in building your career, things happen like this. And then as we all kind of collect together and discuss things over the years, we see the patterns of what we all kind of do. And we kind of come to building a framework that seems to be working for everybody in taking inputs and data and figuring out how to evaluate that and share that information. I think that's really a really key thing, is communicating what it is that you're discovering and looking for. So the other kind of part of that works for me is when I kind of, presently I have this really great job that allows me to look at a really high level of what's going on with avalanches and avalanche cycles in the provinces, pretty much. Be it that not even just how it relates to my present job with the highways, but also in the guiding world, which I kind of dabble in with a little bit these days as well. So it kind of just gives me, I have the luxury of just kind of observing quite a bit. And it's allowed me to kind of watch and look and think about avalanches in cycles, where I think, the PWLs will be as the mountain snowpack has created over the winter. Also to watch as the weather patterns come in, and kind of watch for the cycles and kind of forecast for those cycles. Of course, that's what we do, to the point where when I get out into the field proper, which I think is a really important part of it, even if it's to walk out into your manual weather station, which we rarely have anymore, but that initial first morning get into the field, it really kind of does something to the humanness of us, to be in contact with nature. And anyway, so I find that's a really cool thing. It's time, once I step into it, it kind of resets my my concepts a little bit. So back to it. When you're doing your actual forecast, and I'm out into the field doing it, it's almost like it's a hunt. I see what I think I see what I want to see, and I stay open to going out and looking for it. And it's almost like a hunt. It's a hunt to either confirm what it is that I think I'll see, and the process, which kind of feeds back to the process of how I got there. And if it's correct, then I know that the process that I'm in, the stream of thinking that I'm in, is the right direction. If what I kind of thought I would see is not correct, then I kind of step a little bit deeper into trying to figure out what in my process didn't really work to come up with what I had seen. And I think that's that combination of things, of being open to what you did wrong, and the humility accordingly, to forecasting what you see, and the confidence to living with the forecast that you've made. So that's kind of how I kind of see it as a holistic project to what I would talk to myself about as a forecast and avalanche professional. The habit that I have a lot of, I do like to dig snow profiles. It's really a really key thing. It's a piece of information in the long stream of coming with a good decision. And I used to put more weight into that information than I used to coming to my forecast than I do presently. But I still really like to do the tests. Tests are better there now than they used to be, but I used to kind of still give it equal impact to my decision making. But they're better now. They're better values to use in your decision making. But the crazy little habit I do is, when I find a PWL, I will look at it and we'll test it. But the habit I have is that I actually will eat it. I'll take a piece of it, bite it, chew it, and then it was a weird thing, but I'll eat it before it eats me. So that's a habit. I don't know. Anyway, I think there's a really key thing that in our careers as we go through in reading and discussing. There's a really cool saying that I found with Stephen Vicks. He said that good judgment is a product from the causality of your theory. In the repeat occurrence, that gives you experience. I paraphrase that, but that's kind of what has worked for me.